The $1 Million Movie won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about Hellraiser. We have such sights to show you.
Little known fact, Jim actually played Pinhead in
did.
the original movie, or lead Cenobite, as they called him.
Yes.
Yeah. Hellraiser, it's great. I want to admit that, I'm admitting the fact that I didn't really like this movie, and then we watched it again, and I liked it way more than I remember.
When do you think the last time you saw it was?
College, so probably 20 years ago.
Well, you've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... I think I was confusing it a lot with the sequel, because I think I've seen the sequel more than the original, and I forgot that the original was a lot more just like in a house.
It's just like like more of an adult horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, people are all pretty grown up, except for the daughter.
Well, yeah.
But all the mains are middle-agers.
Yeah.
It's middle-aged sexy.
Still doing stupid things.
Oh, yes.
All right, well, take yourself back to 1987.
Yeah.
January 22nd, politician R. Bud Dwyer commits suicide on live television to avoid embezzlement charges. He is later found to be innocent of all crimes.
That's tragic, but weird. Like, if he was innocent...
The thing is that his career was ruined, and it has something to do with insurance. And so he made a very big deal out of it, made a statement.
Yeah, I mean, he did it on air. That's horrifying.
Yeah. July 13th, the first McMartin preschool satanic panic sexual abuse trial starts, lasting 2.5 years. The investigation started in 1983, lasted 7 years, cost $15 million. It is the longest and most expensive criminal case in the history of the United States legal system, and ultimately resulted in no convictions.
Yeah, and we're right back where we were. Woohoo!
Yeah.
That thing was awful. It ruined so many lives.
Yeah.
And just...
It was terrible. Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. It was expensive, it was long, and it literally bore no fruit.
That was when every one of those like daytime talk shows.
Oh, yeah.
Geraldo,
Yeah.
Satanic Panic. We have Satanists on, and they're coming after your children. Satanists.
Donahue? Was that Phil Donahue? The one with the glasses?
Phil Donahue.
Yeah.
We're going to have Satanists on.
Yeah.
They're coming on to talk about how they worship the devil and they want to take your kids.
And then it would be the most cartoonish Satanist ever.
It'd be, like everybody was dressed like Alice Cooper, and they're the Satanists. It's like, it's awful.
It was pretty bad. And pointless. So incredibly pointless.
Exactly.
August 17th, Rudolf Hess is found dead in his cell in Spandau prison. Hess, 93, is believed to have committed suicide by hanging himself with an electrical flex. He was the last remaining prisoner at the complex, which was soon demolished.
End of an era.
Well, supposedly. No one really knows. It's possible. He was 93. It's possible they walked in and just hung him.
Well,
I know. He was a Nazi. Whatever.
Yeah. Nazis get what they get-see.
All right. Oh, God. September 18th, Hellraiser is released in the United States.
The box. You opened it. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
A lot less of the Cenobites in this movie than I remember, too.
Yeah, they don't come in.
I think I'm thinking about the sequel and how they were they became more lead characters.
Well, they're here, Adam.
Barely knocking the door down.
Well, I think after the first one, they realized people weren't coming to see,
Andrew Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's great acting, but I like the guy with the makeup.
Yeah, I think, Pinhead and Chatterbox and...
Butterball.
Ugh, it's like a World Wrestling Federation.
It totally is.
I think there's Butterbean. Remember Butterbean the boxer?
Oh, yeah, he was a big dude, too.
He was a big dude.
Although technically Butterball, the actor, was not a big dude. It was a fat suit.
Yes.
Yeah. So, of course, Hellraiser starts with Clive Barker. Clive Barker was born in Liverpool. When he was 3, Barker witnessed the French skydiver Leo Valentin plummet to his death during a performance at an air show in Liverpool.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he later alluded to Valentin in many of his stories. It obviously made a huge impact on him, but not as big of an impact as Leo Valentin made on the ground.
Ah! Okay.
Ouch.
Too
Sorry.
soon, Bubba.
That is,
Too soon.
I'm sure it was a very traumatic event for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he probably didn't really understand it, but somehow it stuck in his little brain.
You're 3. You just know that what was happening should not be.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of sums up Clive Barker's stories.
As somebody who dealt with some pretty serious trauma at 3, it'll mess you up.
Yeah.
But at least he used it in creative ways.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Weird, disgusting creative ways,
Yeah.
for sure. Barker started doing experimental and macabre theater while in school. He co-founded the avant-garde theatrical troupe The Dog Company in 1978 with former school friends and up-and-coming actors, many of which would go on to become key collaborators in his film work.
Sounds kind of like somebody we know.
Yeah, pretty much everybody in the theater system in L.A. Yeah. These would include Doug Bradley, who would take on the iconic role of Pinhead, and Peter Atkins, who would write the scripts for the first 3 Hellraiser sequels.
Nice.
Yeah, keep it in the family. Over the next 5 years, Barker would write 9 plays, often serving as director. He shifted away from theater to write Books of Blood, a short story collection that would eventually span 6 volumes.
Yeah, have you ever read any of those?
Yeah.
I've read a couple of the volumes. I like his short stories. They're really good.
I should read his short stories. I've only read one of his novels, and I did not like it.
There's one that's like, and I don't remember it. It's a giant novel that a friend of mine adored, and as knowing that I was a Stephen King fan, gave it to me, and and this is no joke, tried for years to get through that book, and I just couldn't do it. It's just, I don't know. He's just, he's not a bad writer. It's just it's a different kind of horror, and you know, for me it was difficult to.
And later on, he goes away from the horror, goes more into like the kind of magical reality fantasy stuff, and
I think it was Magica.
Oh, okay.
Was the name of the book.
Magica, yeah.
Is that one of his?
Yes, there is a book called Magica.
That's the one.
The one that I read was The Great and Secret Show or something.
Okay.
And I just I could not get into it. I mean, I read the whole thing.
Oh, people love these books. This is just, us as Philistines who probably don't get it.
I mean, it's not, and like you said, he's not a bad writer. It just didn't catch me.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, for me, everybody knows I'm a Stephen King super fan. I just got his newest book, Fairy Tale. I can't wait to read it. Oh, baby. But he is a world builder, and they're both world builders. Yeah. But I just think I prefer living in King's worlds rather than Barker's.
I connect more with King stuff than I do with Barker, for sure. Now, granted, like I said, I've never read any of his short stories, so I need to read some of Books of Blood and see if I like them.
No, they're good. They're really good.
When Books of Blood was first published in the United States in paperback, Stephen King was quoted on the book covers.
I've seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker. Ooh, I'm creepy.
That's how he ends every sentence. Ooh, yeah, I'm creepy.
I love him to death.
Yeah. He likes Clive Barker, so, I mean, there's something there, although he does lend blurbs a lot to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I agree with his stuff, usually.
He's discerning, yeah.
And whatever, it's his taste.
And I know that if he gives something to it, like a blurb or a quote, I know he's read it.
Yeah, he's got integrity. He doesn't need, it's not like they're slipping him $50. So he'd go down to the main diner. And,
I'm creepy.
Hey, honey, we can finally go out for breakfast. I gave a blurb to Johnny Boots for his book, Bleep Blops.
The new up-and-coming writer, Johnny Boots.
Slip me a 50. A Mickey Finn.
After 3 volumes of Books of Blood had been published, Barker released his first novel, The Damnation Game, a Faustian story that touches on topics such as incest, cannibalism, and self-mutilation in a frank and detailed manner. Which I've not read it.
Well, a lot of his books tend to be on the sadomasochistic side.
Yes.
Alliteration. Yeah. Which, that's his kind of thing, is he's kind of like the, sexy, provocative horror guy.
Yeah. It was stuff he was struggling with and things. Around this time, Barker wrote the screenplays for Underworld in 1985 and Rawhead Rex in 1986, both directed by George Pavlou. Underworld, not the Kate Beckinsale movie, is also called Transmutations. It's a horror movie about disfigured subhumans that dwell in the London underground.
As they do.
It's actually an original screenplay from Clive Barker.
Nice.
His first foray into that. Rawhead Rex is based on Barker's short story of the same name that appeared in Books of Blood Volume 3. Barker was not happy with how his works were interpreted by George Pavlou, so it led him to direct the next adaptation, Hellraiser.
Yes. Yeah. Come to daddy.
Hellraiser is based on a novella from Barker called The Hellbound Heart, released in November of 1986. Barker worked as a hustler in the 70s, and his experiences made him want to tell a story about
good and evil in which sexuality was the connective tissue.
Yeah, a hustler, I don't know if you don't know what a hustler is. They essentially is a male prostitute.
Are you looking at me?
No, just for the listeners, Jim.
Well, you sustained some pretty serious eye contact with me when you said that.
I was waiting to see if you were going to respond.
I was never a hustler.
Okay.
In the 70s.
Okay. A little too young then. Okay. The look of the Cenobites were inspired by S&M clubs, such as an underground club called Cell Block 28 in New York, where people were getting pierced for fun. As the writing of the Hellraiser script took place during the height of the Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween film series, his intended portrayal of Pinhead as an articulate and intelligent character was initially not well received by the producers.
Hi there.
Bob, I didn't know you. Okay.
Just wanted to butt in and ruin, your show a little bit.
Yeah.
They weren't articulate. These monsters, they were kind of.
I mean, Freddy Krueger was.
Well, he made jokes. Pinhead wasn't funny.
That's what. Oh.
If he
so he should be less like Freddy Krueger.
Well, he should be like everything else. Something different is bad. Anyway, I gotta go pick up my kids from my ex-wife.
That was
poor
the
Bob.
Saddest thing he said the entire time he's been here.
I think he has a few ex-wives.
No, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Yeah, they suggested he should act more like Freddy Krueger and crack jokes. Others suggested he be a silent character like Jason or Michael Myers. Barker insisted that Pinhead's personality be more evocative of Christopher Lee's portrayal of Count Dracula.
Part of the chill of Dracula surely lies in the fact that he's very clearly and articulately aware of what he is doing. You feel that this is a penetrating intelligence. I don't find dumb things terribly scary. I find intelligence scary, particularly twisted intelligence. It's one of the reasons why Hannibal Lecter is scary, isn't it? Because you always feel that he's going to be 3 jumps ahead of you.
Very well put. Christopher Figg agreed to produce Hellraiser.
Well, I'll do it.
All right. This was Figg's first producing role. He was the second AD for a number of films previous to Hellraiser. He's actually gone on to produce such movies like Dog Soldiers in 2002 and We Need to Talk About Kevin in 2011.
I love We Need to Talk About
Kevin.
It's
such a great movie.
Oh, my God. That's with Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly.
It's great. It's one of the few serious roles that John C. Reilly's done, and it's a fantastic movie.
Oh, they really did need to talk about Kevin.
Oh, a lot.
They needed to. Oh, I don't think they talked enough about Kevin.
It's such a great movie. New World Pictures agreed to fund the film for $900,000. New World Pictures was founded by Roger and Gene Corman in 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they moved on to casting. Claire Higgins was cast as Julia Cotton. She's a 6-time Olivier Award nominee for her work in the theater. Higgins received her first nomination in 1984 for her role as Stella Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire. She has since won the Olivier Award for Best Actress 3 times. Her feature debut was in the 1985 film 1919 about 2 former patients of Sigmund Freud that meet again 65 years later to discuss their therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting movie. Hellraiser was her second feature. Turns out that Claire Higgins really, really hates horror movies.
Yeah, that seems to be a kind of a theme.
Yeah.
Going through, because didn't the lady that played Voorhees' mom, didn't she?
She did not like horror movies either, yeah.
And the people that are so good at them, they don't really like them.
But at least she was able to, play it in a way that it's, not really... Because, she was the villain. Poor Claire Higgins was just surrounded by this horribleness the entire time.
Just gross, nasty, gross. Everything was so just pussy and wet.
Drippy and... every time that skinless Frank came by, he just had gobs of crap hanging off of him.
Touching her face. She had to kiss him.
When she saw the movie for the first time at the premiere, she actually had to leave after 10 minutes because it freaked her out so much. She has never seen the entire movie.
Yeah.
Although this didn't stop her from reprising the role of Julie Cotton in Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, ching.
Money, money, money. She can most recently be seen in Netflix's The Sandman as Mad Hetty.
Yeah. Did you watch that?
I have not watched it yet.
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Ashley Lawrence was cast as Kirsty Cotton.
Kirsty Cotton?
Kirsty.
I don't know. Every Kirsten or Kirsten I've known is so militant about their name, and I get it. Because if your name is being mispronounced all the time, but Ooh, man. Some of them get really testy if you Kirsten them when they're Kirstens or Kirsten when they're Kirstens.
Yeah. I think it's Kirsty. I'm pretty sure I remember Andrew Robinson saying Kirsty.
Like Kirstie Alley?
Yeah. Jennifer Tilly actually auditioned for the part of Kirsty. Hellraiser was...
I'm sorry, that would have been distracting.
Jennifer Tilly? Yeah. I agree. I think...
Hey, Hellraiser. I love Jennifer Tilly.
Hey, Pinhead.
Yeah, exactly. And I adore her, and she's coming up in one of our... Well, she's not in the first Child's Play, is she? She doesn't come...
No, she's much later.
Part of the series. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, she's
fantastic.
She's fantastic, but this movie was a little too serious for Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, I don't know, Dad. I love Jennifer Tilly.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Oh. Hellraiser was Ashley Lawrence's feature film debut. She later reprised the role in Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 in 1988, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth in 1992, and Hellraiser Hellseeker in 2002.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are the best. I don't know.
I
She was really good, though. She
was really good.
Yeah, she's very, girl next door kind of. She played it well.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
And she played it great. I mean, it was giving an impossible task, and she played it well.
Talk about a wicked stepmother.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, bad. Before Hellraiser, she made her acting debut with a recurring role in the CBS soap opera Capital as Brenda Clegg in 1984.
Brenda Clegg. Hey, come over here, Brenda Clegg. She was the intern at the...
Capital?
At the Capital newspaper. Hey,
was it about a newspaper? I just assumed it was about politics.
No idea.
I don't
remember Capital.
You're not a huge super fan of Capital?
I wasn't. Yeah, that one slipped past me. I know I'm a catalog of soaps, but I missed that one.
Yeah. In 1986, Lawrence had a guest appearance on an episode of the television series Highway to Heaven.
Ooh, Highway to Heaven, yeah. Michael Landon, he's an angel taking people to heaven. Come on, get on the Highway to Heaven with me. Take a road trip.
It's so not Michael Landon at all. That was great. She's appeared in several television series after Hellraiser, including Hercules: Legendary Journeys, Suddenly Susan, and Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, nice. A good mix of different kinds of shows.
Yeah. Andrew Robinson was cast as Larry Cotton.
I love this guy.
Andrew Robinson is one of those character actors that is in a million things, and you've no idea what his name is.
Oh yeah, and you as soon as you see him, you're like, oh, that guy.
That guy. Yeah. He was so good in this movie. He was
Yeah,
so good. I
he's
totally
good in everything.
forgot about the ending and how he has to play the brother, and it was so good.
No, he is one of the best character actors.
Yeah.
And he got his beginning.
Oh, yeah. He started as a stage actor, but made his feature film debut in 1971 as the Scorpio Killer in Dirty Harry.
Kill these kids! I'm gonna kill all these kids! Get away from me! I'm not the boss! I'll kill all the kids!
He's so good in this. I love that movie so much.
Watch out, punk! Are you gonna shoot me? What are you gonna do? You're gonna shoot me? Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you.
All right. Pew, and that was it.
Big old 44 mags.
Dirty Harry. I can't wait till we do our Dirty Harry month.
Oh, yeah.
He was also in The Drowning Pool with Paul Newman in 1975.
Hey, a lot of people are drowning in this pool.
Why did we call it The Drowning Pool?
Yeah, maybe we should put up a sign. Caution.
If you change the name to the No Drowning Pool, would people stop drowning?
Maybe. You're a genius.
Just before Hellraiser, Robinson was in Cobra with Sylvester Stallone in 1986.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I just wanted to tell you, man, he was a great guy to work with, He goes professional, showed up on time, sometimes he brought crawlers. I couldn't eat him because I know I'm sugar, but the crew loved him.
I just watched, total seed bump, but I just watched an interview with him in 1976, right as Rocky was coming out.
Yeah.
And he sounds so articulate. And so it's like, wow, I don't have to struggle to understand anything he's saying.
Rocky was the greatest movie I've ever made.
It was like night and day. I was just like, wow.
If you pay attention, you can see that I'm using anamorphic lenses too.
Poor guy. He's also well known for playing Garca on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
He also made a number of appearances in TV shows, including
Bonanza, Marcus Welby, MD, Kung Fu, Ironside, The Rookies, SWAT, The Streets of San Francisco, Kojak, The Incredible Hulk, Chips, Mrs. Columbo, Barnaby Jones, Vegas, the Falcon Crest, The Greatest American Hero, The Dukes of Hazzard, Heart to Heart, The A-Team, Matt Houston, Moonlighting, L.A. Law, Matlock, Law and Order, Walker, Texas Ranger, Murder, She Wrote, The X-Files, The Practice, and Without a Trace.
He also was the director of the acting department at USC for a long time.
Oh, man, that would have been so great to walk in and see. Hey, it's a Scorpio killer.
Oh, he's such a good actor.
Hey, was he? No, Frank was his brother. And
no, he was Larry.
Oh my God, it's Larry from Hellraiser.
He can most recently be heard doing VO in Dota: Dragon's Blood on Netflix, based off the video game Dota 2.
Nice. I'm glad he's still working.
Yeah. He's in his 80s now, but he's still out there. He's doing a lot of VO.
Nice.
The cast Sean Chapman as Frank Cotton, his brother. Character actor Lance Henriksen was offered the role of Frank by New World Pictures.
Nice.
It would have been cool to see him, but he refused because he feared if it was successful, he would have to appear in a series of sequels, which he wasn't keen on.
Well, it wasn't going to be the Frank movie. He pretty much did. He read the script?
Apparently not.
Lance didn't get to the end, did he?
No. Henriksen would later go on to appear in one of the Hellraiser sequels, Hellraiser Hellworld, in 2005.
Yeah, and somebody ended up being in a bunch of sequels. He was in all the Terminator movies.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All the Alien movies.
He was in the Alien movies, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not. It was a dumb reason, but whatever. The thing is, I didn't realize how little Sean Chapman's actually in the movie because he's only in maybe like 2 scenes where he's actually himself.
You set me up, bitch.
Chapman appeared in Underworld, Barker's previous film in the early 80s.
Not the vampire movie.
Not the vampire movie. The one about the underground weirdos. He's been in a large number of BBC shows. He voiced one of the leads in the video game Crisis in 2007 and its 2 sequels.
I love that game.
Yeah.
It's a great first-person shooter.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really good game. Doug Bradley was cast as the lead Cenobite.
Yes. No tears, please.
Bradley is a longtime close friend of Barker, the two having met when they attended secondary school. He has worked with Barker in various projects since the early 1970s. He was originally offered a choice of roles between one of the mattress movers and the lead Cenobite.
Nice.
He struggled with it because he as a young actor, he thought that the audience needed to see his face. Which I'm glad that he played Pinhead instead, because while the 2 guys are a little memorable, it's not Pinhead.
Well, yeah, it's either a one and done, or you become the face of the franchise.
There's no returning the Mattress Movers Return Part 2.
Oh, the Mattress Movers back to help. Hey guys, they've got your new mattress.
It's gotten really messy in here.
Yes, looks like you need a new mattress. There's blood all over that one.
He wasn't marked as Pinhead until the credits of the sequel. He's appeared as Pinhead in 8 of the Hellraiser movies, as well as Captain Elliot Spencer in 2 of the films, the sequel in 1988 and the 3rd movie in 1992.
That's when you find out how Pinhead became Pinhead.
Right. They delve into his character, his backstory.
How he found the box.
Yes.
The puzzle box.
The puzzle box. He is one of only 6 actors to play the same horror character at least 6 consecutive times, the others being
Christopher Lee, who portrayed Count Dracula, Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger, Warwick Davis, who played the Leprechaun, and Brad Dourif, who played Chucky, and not to mention Tobin Bell, who played John Kramer Jigsaw.
For the record, Clive Barker hates the nickname Pinhead and refuses to use it in any of his work.
Well, it's kind of dumb. I mean, I get it. He's got pins in his head, geniuses.
Yeah. Doug Bradley is credited as an assistant makeup artist on some of the Hellraiser films. The makeup would take 6 hours to apply. The makeup was so good that at the wrap party, Bradley was almost refused entry because nobody recognized him without the Pinhead makeup on.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people.
That's sad.
Yes.
New World Pictures originally considered overdubbing his voice with that of an American actor, though this was reconsidered when the producers watched his performance.
Yeah, and they had a guy.
We have such sights to show you, huh?
Yeah,
The box, you opened it, we came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures. No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Yeah, that would have been great.
They made the right choice.
Yes, I believe they made the correct choice, yeah. Doug Bradley also starred in Barker's Nightbreed in 1990.
Did you see Nightbreed?
I've never seen Nightbreed.
I believe I've seen it. I don't remember it. Do you know what it was about?
No, I didn't look up. I didn't do any research on it.
I'm pretty sure it's about.
I think it's about
vampires.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about vampires. I need to see it. It's one of those.
Do you need
Yeah, I mean, after liking Hellraiser,
let's check out Nightbreed.
I'm like, okay, I'd be down for at least giving it a shot.
We'll audition Nightbreed for a possible show.
I was surprised by how much more I liked this movie than I thought, and so it's like, okay,
it is definitely a movie that I do like more the older I get.
Yeah.
And that's usually the opposite.
Yeah.
This one, it's definitely grown on me, and this time I probably enjoyed it the most. Even though, to be honest, full disclosure, I just got back from visiting my wonderful family, and we watched the movie the night that I got back, and I was a little tired, so I think I missed the last 5 minutes. But
it's all right. It's all good. So Doug Bradley has performed narrations on several songs by Cradle of Filth, an English extreme metal band.
Oh, yeah.
Most recently in 2021. And Bradley voiced the Sith Emperor for the MMORPG Star Wars The Old Republic.
Strangely, it was like, Misas, the bad guy.
God. Nicholas Vince was cast as Chattering Cenobite. He's, yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that, because...
Oh, okay, don't. Nicholas Vince trained at Mountain View Theater Academy, and shortly after graduating, he met Clive Barker, modeling for him, and later being cast in Hellraiser in 1987 and its sequel, Hellbound Hellraiser 2 in 88. He subsequently played Kinski in Nightbreed.
See, everybody's in Nightbreed.
Yeah, well, yeah. He wrote stories for the Hellraiser Nightbreed comics, plus the series Warheads and Mortigan Goth.
Whose comics? Are these Clive Barker's comics?
No, his. He wrote these, yeah. There's a bunch of Vertigo comics that...
What's the name of the company?
Vertigo.
Vertigo
is a subsidiary of DC.
Oh, okay.
And they did a Hellraiser line of comics, and he wrote a bunch of them.
Nice. So it's more of their adult comics?
Yeah. Yeah. Vertigo is considered to be their rated R NC-17 comics.
Nice.
Not for the kids. They actually, and Vertigo actually is, we'll talk about later, but there's a TV show coming out, and Vertigo is actually involved in that.
Oh, very cool.
So Nicholas Vince actually served as both secretary and chairman of the Comics Creators Guild. His short story Look, See, which gives an alternative origin of the Chatter, appeared in Fear magazine. Since 2014, he's hosted a chat show on YouTube, Chattering with Nicholas Vince, where he interviews independent filmmakers, writers, artists, and actors.
Nice.
Yeah. Simon Bamford was cast as Butterball, the really fat Cenobite.
His lips all pulled up.
Oh, it's so gross. Simon graduated from Mountain View Academy of Theater Arts in 1981. He played Butterball in the sequel as well. He also created and played the role of Onaka in Nightbreed. In 2000, he won Actor of the Year award for his portrayal of Pip in Great Expectations at the Vasa Theater in Stockholm.
How old was he when he played Pip?
Well, he had to have been probably in his 40s.
Because Pip...
I don't know.
Pretty young.
I mean, that is. I agree. I don't.
That's why he won the award, because he played an 18-year-old at 40.
He played so young. He also designed and directed several international tours, including The Big Day in Sofia, Qatar, and Dubai, as well as educating Rita in Kuala Lumpur. In 2004, he took a production of Shirley Valentine to Karachi to help raise money for a new school. He has been a theater reviewer for the Stage newspaper since 2006.
Theater lifer. Doing good work. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Using theater to improve lives.
Yeah, it's nice. I wish that was more the case here in LA.
No. Most theater in LA is not improving anybody's life.
No. Grace Kirby was cast as the female Cenobite. They couldn't even give her a name or a
She's
description.
Cenobite.
She's female.
She's the girl one.
The girl one. Kirby is Clive Barker's cousin. She made her film debut in Heavenly Pursuits in 1986, starring Tom Conti, Helen Mirren, and David Heyman. The movie is set in Glasgow, Scotland. The film is about a teacher at a Catholic school whose students are searching for two more miracles that would promote the late Edith Semple to sainthood. A non-believer himself, the teacher's skepticism is challenged when he becomes involved in seemingly miraculous events.
My skepticism has been challenged because of these seemingly miraculous events.
The only reason that I include this, and I'll talk about this more a little bit later, is that because after Hellraiser, she literally stopped acting.
Really?
She hated it so much.
Well, the prosthetics must have taken forever for her.
She was not a fan. In 2006, she was a drama teacher in Cumbria, the UK. She's done some stuff since then, but she definitely steered away from doing any of the.
She wanted to teach.
Yeah.
It's admirable.
Yeah. More power. Oliver Smith as Skinless Frank, a.k.a. Frank the Monster.
Skinless Frank. I got no skin.
That is pretty much a dead-on Frank. He made his film debut in 1977 in Jesus of Nazareth as Saul.
Hey, I'm Saul. What's going on, Jesus?
You better give me a call.
Come on. Let's go have your last supper, Jesus.
He appeared in The Great Train Robbery in 1979, directed by Michael Crichton, who also wrote the screenplay based on his 1975 novel. The film stars Sean Connery, Donald Sutherland, and Leslie Ann Down.
Hey, Sean Connery. Let's go rob that train. Let's do it.
Don't mind the fact that I have no skin.
I'm skinless. I'm skinless train robber.
Little known fact, Oliver Smith doesn't actually, they didn't use any makeup. That actually is just him.
Yeah, he has a no-skin condition.
He's also appeared in the Hellraiser sequel, Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, the electric boogaloo.
Yeah. Hellraiser was filmed at the end of 1986 and was set to be made in 7 weeks, but was extended over a 9 to 10 week period by New World. The film was originally made under the working title of Sadomasochists from Beyond the Grave.
Ugh. Sadomasochists from Beyond the Grave.
It's such a B-movie title.
Yeah.
Barker also wanted to call the film Hellbound, but producer Christopher Figg suggested Hellraiser instead.
Hey, let's call it Hellraiser instead.
He's got a lot of energy.
Okay.
Christopher Figg.
That sounds delicious.
Barker admitted his own lack of knowledge on filmmaking, stating that he
didn't know the difference between a 10mm lens and a 35mm lens. If you'd shown me a plate of spaghetti and said it was a lens, I might have believed you.
Clive Barker's so dead on.
I have no idea what he sounds like. Apparently he's kind of James Mason-y.
Yeah. After filming, New World convinced Barker to relocate the story to the United States, which required overdubbing.
Yeah, definitely. You were absolutely right. It's overdumbing.
After filming, New World convinced Barker to relocate the story to the United States, which required overdubbing to remove some English accents. Sean Chapman's dialogue was completely replaced by another actor.
Yeah, it was.
But it's so English. I mean, it looks English. The movers look English. It's like you can't...
The whole flat, the house, everything is very English.
I didn't think... Except that's what was confusing about this movie.
Yeah.
This is what was confusing. Is what you got the American guy and the American daughter, and then you got the British stepmom, and then Frank.
Yeah. I'm Frank.
I mean, who did they get? Like the Hillside Strangler to do his voice? But you got the two mover guys who couldn't look more English.
Yeah.
If you tried, it's like they just popped out of Mary Poppins. It's just funny how they're like, hey, yeah, let's just make it United States. We'll overdub. Nobody will know. Anyway, I gotta go pick up my kids.
Yeah.
I
think it was actually Clive Barker doing an American accent is who overdubbed for Frank.
Yeah.
It just sounds like one of those, it's what it sounds exactly like is the killer in the drive-in movie in One Crazy Summer.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Come to daddy.
Yeah, come to daddy.
God, that's just so... His character is so... He's almost as gross as Ben Stiller.
Almost.
in the John
Hot
Cusack
Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit.
Yeah. Almost as gross.
Almost.
Even with skin, Stiller still beats Skinless Frank.
During production, Doug Bradley had trouble hitting his marks during his takes in makeup as he could not see through the black contact lenses and was afraid of tripping over Pinhead's skirts.
I have no idea where I am.
Nicholas Vince literally couldn't see through his mask, and his chattering teeth had to be redesigned to be removable, as he would often drool uncontrollably through the mask and couldn't eat with it on.
Ugh, how horrifying this was to Ben.
The four actors that were so tortured through this entire thing. Bamford, as Butterball, wore a fat suit and a foam latex mask, which he also couldn't see through.
Oh, yeah, and he was probably baking in there.
It was probably 1,000,000 degrees, yeah. Butterball and the Chatter actually had some lines in the original script, but due to the makeup preventing the actors from speaking, their lines were either cut or given to Pinhead and the female Cenobite.
What? What was that? Look, let's just give it to the one who can talk, okay?
Yeah.
The one it's not Pinhead. Don't call him Pinhead. If you call him Pinhead again, you're fired.
He's the lead Cenobite.
He is the lead Cenobite.
Grace Kirby couldn't sit down while in costume and hated the makeup so much she refused to do any of the sequels.
Which means she couldn't pee when she was in the costume.
That
which
is
she probably
true.
got a bladder. They all probably got horrible bladder infections or something. I mean, it's torture, and there wasn't really any sort of person on set to make sure that there's no OSHA representative or anything in England. You know, probably just some security guards snoozing and smoking cigs.
I'm sure they probably popped in, looked, and go, "Yeah, this is fine.
Wait a minute, please.
This is scary, and I haven't even seen the movie yet. I'm gonna go home now."
Clive, darling, I really have to go to the bathroom. Just another hour, please. I hate you. I'm never going to act again. I swear to God, I will never act again after this.
Numerous props of LaMartian's box, constructed from wood and cut out brass, were produced by special effects designer and makeup artist Simon Sace.
Mr. Sace made quite a cool little box.
He
Those
did.
were
It's
awesome.
really rad. Due to the box's delicate construction, Sace would lie on the floor under the Cenobites during some takes in case it was dropped in order to save himself the 8 hours it took to create another.
I'm pretty impressed he could create something so intricate in 8 hours.
Yeah, I agree.
But I get it. He's just, oh, don't drop the box, please. Oh, God, come on. I gotta see my kids, man. I can't make another one of these boxes.
The FX setting in the movie is not that great, with the lightning bolts and things when they make the Cenobites go away.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not good. Clive Barker has explained that due to a very limited budget, there was no money left to have the FX done professionally after the primary filming. Instead, Barker and a quote-unquote Greek guy...
Hey, I'm a Greek guy. Come on.
They animated the scenes by hand over a single weekend.
Opa!
Barker's also commented that he thinks the FX set turned out very well considering the amount of alcohol the two consumed that weekend.
Yeah, considering they were super drunk and did it themselves, it's a bang-up job.
Clive Barker had to make some cuts to the film after the MPAA gave it an X rating. 2.5 shots were excised from the first hammer murder, including a close-up of the hammer lodged in the victim's head. In the scene where Julia murders another man, the actor playing the victim felt that it made sense for him to do it naked. The nude murder scene was shot, but ultimately replaced with a semi-clothed version.
I believe my truth is naked.
It was the second guy, the guy who was really eager to, have sex with her, and then, it was so weird. The guy was creepy.
I'll only do it if I can show my willy.
Close-ups of Kirsty sticking her hand into Frank's stomach, exposing its guts, were cut. Longer version of the scene where Frank is being torn to pieces by the Cenobites' hooks, and the very final shot where his head explodes and his brain messily splashes out was also cut.
All this stuff is quaint compared to stuff that they do today.
I know.
Is there a director's cut that restores all these goodies?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No. Barker has mentioned some problems that censors had with more erotic scenes in the film. The seduction scene between Julie and Frank was initially a lot more explicit.
We did a version of this scene which had some spanking in it, and the MPAA was not very appreciative of that. Lord knows where the spanking footage is. Somebody has it somewhere. The MPAA told me I was allowed 2 consecutive buttock thrusts from Frank, but a third is deemed obscene, thus the creation of the term two-pump chump.
Barker originally wanted the electronic music group Coil to perform the music for the film, but that notion was rejected by New World. Coil actually recorded part of the soundtrack. Barker said about Coil,
Coil was the only group I've heard on disc whose records I've taken off because they made my bowels churn.
the score that Coil recorded, a total of 9 tracks, can be found on their compilation CD, Unnatural History 2, Smiling in the Face of Perversity, and on another album, the unreleased themes for Hellraiser. Both are apparently quite rare.
I bet you our friend Brendan has those.
I would not be surprised.
We'll have to contact him and see.
Be surprised. Editor Tony Randall then suggested Christopher Young as a replacement for Coil for the film's score.
Wait, Tony Randall? From The Odd Couple?
Yeah, but close. But you gotta transpose the L and the E.
Oh.
Yeah. Young had previously composed scores for other horror films such as the 1985 slasher A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and the 1986 Tobe Hooper film Invaders from Mars.
That's such a weird movie, but I really like that movie.
Invaders from Mars? I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's like, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like this little kid kind of stumbles upon these Martian invaders, and they're like these little weirdos, and he and his mom they kidnap his mom, and he has to get his mom back.
Oh, wow.
It's this really cool, very 80s.
Okay.
You should definitely check it out.
I'm a huge fan of Tobe Hooper, so I'm really surprised I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of Spielberg-y Toby Hooper mashup kind
Interesting.
of thing.
Okay. When Clive Barker first showed the film to his mother, she cried tears of joy upon seeing her son's name in the opening credits. He leaned over and whispered,
"It's the happiest you'll be for the next 2 hours."
Just so sad.
So true, too. His mother was probably horrified. I know my mom would walk out of the theater in 5
my
minutes.
mom wouldn't even. She'd be like, "That's not for me."
Yeah, this is, you have your fun.
That's fine.
This isn't for me. I'm going to go have some popcorn.
Hellraiser had its first public showing at the Prince Charles Cinema on September 10th, 1987. In the UK, the film was released in the United States on September 18th. It grossed $14.5 million in the United States and Canada. Hellraiser was initially banned in Ontario by the Ontario Film and Video Review Board. In August of 87, Hellraiser was passed by the Film Review Board, but only after several cuts were made to the film. New World Mutual Pictures of Canada cut about 40 seconds to get the film passed with an R rating. 35 seconds of an extended torture scene featuring hooks pulling apart a body and face were removed, as well as a scene of squirming rats nailed to a wall.
Yeah, it was gross. It was a gross movie.
And the thing is also, and I don't know if Clive Barker's ever talked about this, but they just cut the stuff. They didn't even talk to him about it. They just cut it.
Yeah, well, that's how it was back then.
Yeah, it's just crappy.
No, it's super crappy. I remember seeing this in the theater. This was around the time that I really loved horror movies, like the Friday the 13th. I loved them as a kid, but this was kind of the renaissance of me being the most into horror. I think it went from here through my 20s. And I still love horror, but this was when I was like so into it.
Yeah.
And I remember being so excited to see Hellraiser because the Pinhead character looked so awesome.
Yeah.
And it was something different from, lumbering Jason and chasing, and Wise Crackin' Freddy.
The film was well received in England, with some calling it the
greatest horror film made in Britain.
Roger Ebert gave the film a 1/2 of a star out of 4 and deemed it
as dreary a piece of goods as has masqueraded as horror in many a long cold night. This is one of those movies you sit through with mounting dread as the fear grows inside of you that it will indeed turn out to be feature length. This is a movie without any wit, style, or reason, and the true horror is the actors were made to portray and technicians to realize its bankruptcy of imagination. Oh, we need a hot dog.
Variety disagreed, calling it
well made, well acted, and the visual effects are generally handled with skill.
Yeah.
Except at the end.
Just ignore those effects.
Yes. It was very controversial at the time. Very controversial. Because you couldn't, and it wasn't the violence as much as it was the sex, because you could do as much violence. This is the American way, baby. As much violence as you want.
But it was portraying sexual violence.
Well, yeah, it was the double whammy. And then it was all, it's Satanism. Oh, baby.
Yeah,
it went all with that Martin stuff. People lost their minds with the Cenobites, and they're glorifying Satan. I remember it was just so maddening. The ids, they were just like, oh, baby, we gotta boycott it. It's the devil.
For the video release, the film had one of the most unusual pieces of bonus material that has ever been offered, a home shopping network show where merchandise from the movie could be purchased.
Seriously?
Yes.
Was it just a film of it, and then you could call in from the film? It wasn't like a live?
No. The show was hosted by a giddy old lady claiming to be a hardcore fan of the movie.
Oh, I love this movie. What you gotta do is you gotta get your Cenobite oven mitts. They look like the Cenobite hands of the guy of Butterball. So you got these chubby hands to grab your pot pies or, anything, your cookie trace, whatever you need. Just get it. Just order it. It's only $19.99.
Little known fact, the giddy old lady was actually Clive Barker's mother.
Was it really?
No. But I wish.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been great. She's like, oh, Clive, I loved your movie. I loved it.
Please get these slippers made to look like flesh.
The movie made enough money that there were sequels.
Oh, there were sequels. Boy, oh boy.
Hellbound Hellraiser 2 in 1988, directed by Tony Randall, the editor of the original, not Tony Randall from The Odd Couple. Okay. This was the only sequel with involvement from Clive Barker and Christopher Figg. Barker just provided the original story.
It wasn't bad. I like Hellraiser 2 was interesting because you got a little bit more of the Cenobites.
Yeah, it was a little more in the history and the other worlds or whatever. I need to watch it again.
And there was that great commercial where they would come out with the Cenobites and they would be like, Cenobites love Cinnabons. And they would be like, oh, this is delicious. No tears, please. This is a waste of a good snack. And they would chew them all up.
Chatter.
Cenobites for Cinnabons. Come to your local mall.
Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth was released in 1992. Hellraiser Bloodline in 1996. Hellraiser Inferno in 2000. Hellraiser Hellseeker in 2002. And then in 2005 was a treat. Hellraiser Deader in June.
They're running out of ideas.
And Hellraiser Hellworld later in 2005. Hellraiser Revelations in 2011, and Hellraiser Judgment in 2018.
I'm pretty positive I've seen them all. I'm pretty sure.
I'm 100% certain I have not.
I have a soft spot for the Hellraiser movie. It's like the Chucky movies. You know, these 80s horror movies, I love them. And because they were just so much fun back then. That was back when horror movies were just weird and fun. Like the 70s were dread, but fun. But they were super creepy.
Yeah.
And then the 80s, you know, this is why I'm so glad that we're doing, you know, because last year for Spooktober, we did the 70s horror movies, and now we're doing the 80s horror movies. And they set a different kind of bar. It was like Freddy Krueger, you know, the little Child's Play guy. These guys, they were different. They were the wisecrackers, or they had a personality. It was, the 80s was more villains and killers with personality rather than just lumbering, soulless killing machines.
Yeah. Agreed. The long in production remake is being released on Hulu today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I guess we're watching something for casserole night.
Yeah, that's right. With a script by David S. Goyer of the Blade franchise and Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy.
Excellent.
It should be good. I'm excited, you know.
Well, considering what was done with Prey, which totally revitalized the Predator franchise.
Yeah.
It's got some good names behind it, and I'm really curious to see what they do. I'm excited. I think it's ready for a reboot. I think it's ready for something new.
I agree. Interestingly enough, there's also a TV show in the works.
Really?
It was announced in April 2020, a joint production between Vertigo Entertainment, the comics company, and HBO.
Ooh.
I think they're going to be mostly based off of the comics. Writers were including Mark Verheiden, who did Falling Skies on TNT, which was okay.
I didn't see it.
It was fine. Michael Dougherty, who did Trick or Treat,
the
great 2007 movie.
Oh, with the little pumpkin boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie. Oh man, that scene with the guy burying the little kid and his son is like, Dad. Ooh, baby, I can't wait till we do that movie.
Oh yeah. And the director is, not of all the episodes, but some of them, will be David Gordon Green, who did the Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. I believe he's doing Halloween Ends.
Interesting. I like those movies. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's the 14th that the last one comes out on Peacock in the theaters. But is this animated? Or is it?
No. Also, the EPs, Danny McBride and Jody Hill, working with David Gordon Green to help shepherd it.
Well, because Gordon Green also worked on the Eastbound and Down show.
He works with Danny McBride and Jody Hill a lot.
Well, that's a great pedigree. Then I'm really excited.
And in October of 2020, Clive Barker joined as an executive producer.
Nice.
So it's all working together. I don't know what I'm guessing it's been pushed back because of the pandemic. But I just saw an article talking about the dueling projects between the Hulu movie that's coming out and now the new show that I'm assuming will come out sometime next year.
You're going to get Danny McBride to be a Cenobite. Hey, I'm a Cenobite.
But it looks interesting. And it's like, you know what? I've not seen hardly any of the sequels. It kind of became a joke because there's just so many of them.
It's like Friday the 13th, you know? By the time they got to Freddy in space...
Yeah,
it was devoid of any sort of integrity or joy, and I think they tried with the 2011 and 2018 to kind of revitalize it because I remember the 2018 one was kind of a big deal.
Yeah. At least I remember the quality being higher.
Yeah,
them talking about like, oh, it's finally. Like,
but it didn't do anything to revitalize the whole thing. But I think this could. Getting somebody who's an interesting filmmaker to tackle something interesting It's going to be a lot better than just being, giving it to Jim Wynorski or something, like just throw a lot of boobs in it.
Well, it seems like they're fans, I mean, they like this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, and it's not, from what I gather, the show is not going to be any of the characters from the original movies. Like it's just going to be in that world with Cenobites and
so kind of
the
like
puzzle box and everything.
So it'll be kind of like an anthology series.
I think so.
That's really cool.
Maybe I don't quote me on that, but I get the feeling that it's going to be more in that vein.
Well, any new good Hellraiser stuff, I'm down for.
Yeah, it's a really interesting world. I had forgotten how big that world could get in this movie, and just how weird it is.
Well,
but
and I think the mystery of where the Cenobites come from in the box, and you don't really know, they don't really spell it out for you.
Yeah.
In the first one. I mean, it gets pretty
Yeah.
specific as we go along.
Yeah.
Because you got to know, it's part of the whole thing is people want to know. But it's also one of those things that the less you know, it's a little scarier.
Yeah.
But I think, this movie came around at the perfect time because it did hype into that satanic panic, and that kind of controversy helped the box office.
Oh, for sure.
And I think it's absolutely one of the classic 80s horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
And, that goes along with...
Very 80s.
Yeah, and I think
but it's great.
The 3 movies that we picked this month for this year's Spooktober really are the most iconic movies of the 80s, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I
And-
mean, definitely, yeah. We think 80s horror, it's these 3 movies.
Yeah. And next week, we got a little something called Child's Play.
I'm so excited about Child's Play. I have not watched that in so long.
Get your good guy dolls out, because we're going to be playing. Thanks so much. That was really great, Adam.
It's awesome.
And,
it was fun. It's a great movie. Please go check it out. Hellraiser is on streaming stuff. You can find it. It's pretty easy.
Do yourself a little favor. Have a little double feature tonight.
Yeah.
Order some pizza. Watch the original Hellraiser. Then check out the new one on Hulu.
Yeah.
And have a few friends over. A little impromptu Hellraiser soiree. That's probably what we're going to do.
Great way to get into the Halloween season. Spooktober. Like, it's great. I can't stress enough how wrong I was, how much I hated this movie,
Yeah,
and I didn't.
exactly.
I was so surprised.
Sometimes it's good to watch stuff over again. It's like eating foods that you thought you hate.
Yeah.
Sometimes you like it again.
Yeah.
And Hellraiser's a pretty good little snake.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
Welcome to the Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
Okay.
Sorry, I started swallowing right as you said that. All right. I was so enraptured with your long
Jesus.
drawn out welcome.
It's always good to get the bloops out of the way at the beginning.
I hope so.
We now return you to your previously scheduled programming. Taxi, already in progress.